it's real work, and it's like commitment and discipline that comes with it. But once you start getting in a role of it, it starts to feel so good. You realize like this is the way. I mean, for me.
Yeah. And taking it slow. Like if a guy can't like take it slower, like, okay, we can like do XYZ, but I don't want to do whatever ABC, I don't know, or you know what I mean? It's like, and still have fun, and still, you know, and if they can't like deal with that, I don't know, they're just so, they need to. And then I think like a lot of guys, like they need to be in control of whatever's going on with them. Like they expect us to do everything down to the birth control or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't but down to even as like, why can't, you know, that's partially you too. You can also come up with, you know, figure out how to control things and, you know, be responsible or whatever, you know.
Do you think it's possible for people, because I'm going to go all the way back to like being a teenager, right? And I remember a friend of mine was dropping me off to a girl's house. And then he was like, bro, he's like, well, you know, what took so long or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm not in there like going crazy. Like, it's not like that type of shit. I'm intimate with the girl. We're not together, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure that she's enjoying it too. And I never forget, the dude was a little older than me. He goes, but you're confusing her. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you don't go in there just like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just going in like on a mission, which now I understood what that is because you said feeding the ego. If you don't go in there with that approach, it can confuse the girl and maybe she's thinking that it's something else, right?
Like you really like her and you want to be with her.
So with you speaking on celibacy and speaking on like the energy exchange and everything like that, do you feel it's possible for somebody to be intimate with another person and they actually take the time to make sure the other person is pleasured, but it just be that, you know what I'm saying? Can they be casual like sex partners and it not be more than that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm wondering, like, was he right? You know what I'm saying? Is that something that be confusing to a female where it's like, well, damn, it didn't seem like it was only this when we was laying down.
I mean, I think having a conversation about things like intentions of it's nice, but if that doesn't happen, I think it should be an even exchange in some sort where, okay, well, there's different tactics. So I would say it should feel like both people are giving and both people are receiving, but also in the end, like being like, okay, your energy goes back to you and my energy goes back to me. And there's ways to kind of seal it. Like, okay, so one way to seal it, which might, people, you know, it has maybe a stigma to it about being soft or whatever, or maybe, I don't know. But like basically like after sex, like to spoon, like just to do a regular spoon to close out, like, you know, because sometimes it's like, what do we do? Or like, or you know what I mean? It could be maybe like someone has to get up and use the bathroom real quick or this, or, you know, all these things, like check their phone. But it's like, no, take a second, just like spoon, like take some breaths, like kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like closing out what just happened, like sealing, like, or, you know, kind of like bringing it back down. And then
so no one has to get like feel damaged in some type of way. Is that what you mean? Like, so you know, like when you're done and someone just gets up, you go to the bathroom, you go do that or whatever, like get dressed or something, and it's like
wouldn't that make it even more intimate? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait, so you're trying to say, okay, wait, so your question was like more like, can you just, I don't think I got your question totally. Like you're saying, like,
I think he's asking, can you like actually give somebody the real, like, you know, the satisfaction, not just go in there and just get a nut real quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because when you hear people use the analogy, the difference between fucking somebody and making love to them, right?
Like go in there, actually please this person, taking time on this person's body sexually, but
not
like without it being confusing to that person and thinking like, oh, well, see how he has sex with me, girl? I know he like me. We're gonna be together.
Oh,
like,
right. Okay.
Because what was funny is, I'm not gonna lie, when I was in high school, I was on some shit like, I'm gonna make sure she enjoys it, so that way when she go back to school, of course I know she gonna tell somebody. I'm gonna keep it to myself, but I know she gonna tell somebody, and she gonna be like, oh shit, like it was actually enjoyable. It wasn't just like every other boy in high school. But when my homeboy was like, you're confusing them, it did end up turning out that way a few times where I'm like, well, damn, like it was just this, but I can see where maybe they're right. Maybe I did confuse her because I didn't just go in and just stabbing like how some of my homeboys were doing when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
I've heard that. I've heard where guys be like, you got to have sex with a certain girl, how you feel, but you need to have sex with them according like that way.
I don't like that, but I mean, it's whatever. Okay. I would say in that case, it's having the conversation, because then you're leaving, like if you're misleading somebody and then that's going to cause a negative thing with her, like, cause we're all emotional beings actually, even though a lot of people have created barriers, you know what I mean? I think it's a misconception to think that we aren't. We all are very emotional.
Yeah, I can agree.
We all have feelings, but we just create things. And so I think for that, it would be like having the conversation, like, but why wouldn't you want to be? I don't know. I don't really agree with that, because I kind of think like you would want to be your best every time. Like if you're more of an evolved,
exactly.
Like it might feel the same kind of for a guy, but like, you don't like I said, like if you're going to leave somebody feeling a certain way, that's not anything less than like a loving state, then why would you want to do that? You know what I mean?
And I think it goes back to what you were saying, feeding the ego. And when you spoke about, because one thing you mentioned when you spoke on celibacy, you were like, it wasn't enjoyable. So I could be wrong in what I'm guessing, but I feel like maybe the sexual partners that you had leading up to the celibacy, they were feeding the ego. They weren't making sure that it was an enjoyable experience on both ends, to the point where it was like, damn, this shit I'm not even enjoying this anymore. So I need my space, because people aren't mirroring my energy. You know what I'm saying? They weren't at the level that you were at. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was wondering, like, damn, that could be like what my homeboy was talking about back then. Like, he was trying to feed the ego, and I was on some shit like about mirroring the energy and making sure the girl was enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? So
I just wanted it to be more. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it, but like knowing that I'm going to enjoy it before doing it is for me worth it more than going into it and not really knowing what I'm going to get kind of situation, I think, you know, or like knowing like what's going to happen, like, or, you know, or, okay, like, I don't think I was attracting the right type of guy. It was like a mix of things. It was like a whole mixed bag of like reasons why I wasn't with the type of person that I wanted to be with, and like that.
So even if it was sensual, the energy just wasn't aligning. Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like
totally.
It's definitely.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it's not what I'm hearing. Like, it's not so much of just sex. It was like even the outside of that, what I'm receiving from this person. That I know for me that made me like too, like, oh, I'm not even getting anything out of this person even outside of that.
Well, for me, I think it's like, I think this is where I'm at. I mean, sometimes I might say things where I'm not like 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that if I'm having sex with someone, I at least want to be like a friend and a supportive friend, and like have a relationship of some sort of a nourishment. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I'm gonna have sex with them, I don't want to just be like just doing things and that's it.
Yeah. Yep. That's where I got. And that's where I ended up. That's why I said I ended up getting in those situations where, okay, now it's this person and it doesn't work out. And it was the next, you know what I'm saying? Because I realized like, oh, they just have that to offer. And
so what do you mean when you say it doesn't work out? When you say it doesn't work out?
Work out as far as like, I looked at it like wanting exactly what she was saying. Like, I want some type of connection with the person I'm doing this with. So not, I just hit you up when I'm ready for a booty call shit. And it got, who I was attracting, it was that. And I was like, so therefore it's so many different things though. I could like bounce around to different reasons on how I came to the conclusion to stop. And you know what I mean? But that was just one of many, just realizing like, you know, they weren't on that. And then it's like, it makes me realize like, I don't think all men ain't shit. I was like, okay, what am I doing with, what do I need to do for myself so I can attract better?